Croxteth Hall is currently gearing up for a big Easter reopening. To celebrate, they'll be holding Easter egg hunts, a Mad Hatter's tea party, truffle making classes and a fair. But those seeking a break from the Easter festivities needn't stray far to relax and reconnect with nature. A stone's throw away from the hall is the Victorian walled garden, which once kept the big house stocked with vegetables. I met up with man in the know, Paul Sutter, to find out what the garden has to offer the visitor of today.
The walled garden itself actually dates from 1850 is when it was actually built and created. And here, some of the trees, in fact some of the apples and pear trees, there's over 30 different varieties, and actually some of them date back from the 1850s as well, so they're established at that time. The garden itself, it's actually got some wonderful collections here. We've got the wonderful glass houses just behind me, and inside there you've got some national collections like the Coleus collection, which is in there. We've also got bromeliads, which people can see, and also cacti as well.
A wide variety of tropical plants are cultivated within the greenhouses of the walled garden, and they form a large part of Liverpool's botanical collection. Now, thanks to the hard work of the hall's gardeners, one particularly striking and rare plant has flowered in Liverpool for the first time since 1978. Native to the Philippines, the Green Jade Vine is endangered in the wild through logging of rainforests, and can only be seen at 3 other locations in the UK.
So here we have the wonderful jade vine, and as you can see, it actually gets its name from actually this wonderful jade colour which is actually on these pendants here, which are coming down the plant. So last time it was actually seen here was 1978, as I say, and the reason why it's really hard to get it to flower, in fact the plant is so difficult to get to flower that the only place you can actually get it from, or cutting from, is actually from Kew Gardens. Now, just over 14 months ago, the gardener here, and also Steve Linus, who's a local botanist, he wrote to Kew Gardens to ask if they could have a cutting, and Kew kindly agreed that we could have a cutting. So over the last 14 months they've been trying to get the conditions just right for it to grow and for it to flower. Now you need quite a hot temperature for these plants, with them being from the Philippines. So it needs to be over 20 Celsius a day, kept in real warmth, and also it needs to have real high humidity as well.
In the wild, jade vine is pollinated by bats, which explains the unique shape of the jade green flowers that hang from the vine.
So the bats come along, and if you look at these wonderful flowers, they're sort of claw-like, but the plant gives off a real sweet nectar, only which the bats like. And as the bat actually goes in just to get the nectar, the little pointy bit on the flower actually puts a little bit of pollen on top of the bat's head. The bat flies off to another plant, and the pollen is then collected from that plant as well. So it's really quite unusual. It's called a symbiotic relationship in nature. The lifespan of this flower is not really long. In fact, this one is just going into its 2nd week, and probably at the end of this week these flowers would have fallen by then. But not to worry, there is a second pendant just further along on the vine which is just growing now, so hopefully in over a week's time we'll still have this wonderful display of flowers. So they don't last very long. The plant itself, the vine, will live quite happily in here because these are just the perfect conditions for it, and hopefully maybe in a year or so or 2 years we'll get it to flower again.
Croxteth Hall and the walled garden will be open to the public from Good Friday. You can witness this special flower in bloom for yourself at the greenhouse every morning between 10:30 and 12. This is Theo Browne reporting for Bay TV News.